In a while on this 302, but I made one last night and it didn't turn out that good. But as you can see, the block's been all honed and new freeze plugs, cam bearings, just all been going through. The crank's been ground 10 by 10, so I didn't have to measure any clearances or anything. But I was hoping to have the pistons in today, but Jegs messed up again and sent me the wrong crap. So my oiling rings didn't fit on my pistons because supposedly these engines were metric piston size, so the oiling ring ain't gonna fit. But I got the cam in. You can see it there with the cover. Torqued it to 10 pounds. And I've got the crank in. All the bearings have been installed right and lubricated, and everything's been lubricated with assembly lube. The crank turns great. I went through and with a torque wrench, and well, before this I installed the rear main seal. Yesterday I couldn't install it all because I had to get the rear main seal. It's a one piece. And what I did is put assembly lube in the middle along with some really thick oil, and then I put sealant on the outside, gasket maker, so that, because you don't want that thing moving, but you just want the crank to be able to spin around inside of it. But I went through with a torque wrench and went through and snugged these all down, and then took them to 30 pounds one at a time, and then I went to 50 pounds, and 30 to 50 pounds, 30 to 50 pounds, and so on. And then after that, when they're all at 50 pounds, I went through and torqued them from back here to up here at 70 pounds, so 70, 70, 70, and so on. And that's all torqued down. I double checked. The crank turns great. The shaft's pretty lubed up, so I can't turn it right there. I'm not touching the crank journals, but it turns awesome. No wobble in the crank because it's all been balanced and ground down, so that's awesome. I'm really pleased with it so far. I'd really like to have the pistons in today, but I still got to send the heads off. But as soon as I get them pistons in, I'm going to throw the oil pump back in it and maybe buy a new one, put the pan back on it, and that'd be awesome. But it's had about everything new put in it, and as you can see, the cylinders have been honed, so there ain't no rust in them or nothing. Yeah, but she's hopefully going to be a really good motor. Another thing I wanted to address is a lot of people, I don't know if they know this, but I found something kind of odd on this today, is these 302s, and I think it's just the 302s on the crankshaft, these holes at the end of the crank go all the way through to the inside of the motor. So when you put your flywheel on, you got to put some thread locker, and I think that's probably a big reason why a lot of these old Ford trucks, everybody thinks their air mains going out in them, is because when they get the motors rebuilt in them, I doubt anybody puts any thread sealer on them, because you can see right through the holes. It's kind of odd. I didn't really know that when taking it apart. But anyway, that's kind of what I did. The cam, I put a Lunati 268 by 276 duration cam, and it's early 500s lift on the intake and exhaust, and it's also a 110 LSA, so it's going to be really choppy. I called them yesterday and asked about valve to piston clearance, and they said since I got valve release in my pistons, and it's not very big of a cam, it's going to sound really cool, but it's not in the 600s or anything, so that'll be really good. So I ain't going to really have to worry about valve to piston clearance, I don't think, but I probably will go ahead and check it anyway. But anyway, but here's number one the number 1 piston. This goes in number 1 cylinder hole. But you can see the valve reliefs. This is a stock piston. They've all been ground down, honed out, but I wanted to show you guys when I ordered my rings today, they didn't fit, and that oiling ring there, the ring was way too big. So I guess these late 80s motors, they said, are metric, like I just told you guys. But that was kind of disappointing. But I just kind of wanted to do a video on this engine. There will be a lot more on this. I figured to turn the engine around so you can see the top. But there will be a lot more on this engine, and there will be a lot more on this brown old farm truck also. I'm wanting to get the frame fixed in it, and I showed you guys it in the last video, but you can kind of tell it's right in there. The frame's cracked. I don't know why these old trucks do that. When you back them up, boy, the wheels tuck in. And that's normal, I've heard, but right one seems to do it more, and I think it's because of that frame somehow. But yeah, there'll be a lot more on this engine, so keep posting, subscribe. I mean, I try to do a lot of neat stuff on this, and I'm going to start doing more videos. I had some reviews on my old truck out here a couple of years back. It's been a while, been about 3 years ago, and I haven't really done many videos since. So I'm wanting to do some more. May do some dirt bike videos. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to get this truck all fixed up, and I'll do some updates on it. The plans for it are either just leave it the same, drive the wheels off of it, or I'm going to replace some fenders and doors and the bed and shoot it white and paint it white and redo the interior on it. So just keep posted, and there'll be a lot of cool stuff. You know, after I get this motor done, I may move on to something else. You never know. So maybe more projects, but just subscribe, and I appreciate you guys watching. Have a good day.